Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach. Minister, in the film A Few Good Men, there's a famous courtroom scene at the end where Tom Cruise questions Jack Nicholson, who plays the character of Colonel Jessup, and he tells Jessup that he ordered Lieutenant Kendrick to make sure that Private Santiago was not to be touched. But then Santiago was transferred off the base. Why the two orders, he asks. And Jack Nicholson replies, sometimes men take things into their own hands. To which Cruise retorts with the famous line, no sir, you said your men follow orders or people die. Your men follow orders or people die. Now 2 weeks ago, Minister, there was an order given when the Oireachtas members from Meath sat in a room in your Department of Health with 18 of the lead figures within the HSE and top clinicians in Ireland, and they painted a stark vista of clinical concerns regarding the operation of the ED in Navan. We all listened intently. There was equally a stark vista painted of the ED situation in Drogheda, where it is proposed to transfer patients from Navan to sit in a queue for 12 hours and wait to be seen, and where a leading clinical director in the room claimed that he'd rather see people in that queue in Drogheda than in Navan. Hardly a sales pitch for the people of Navan. So we heard that clearly too. As did the Minister for Health, and consequently that day he put a hold on the plans by the HSE to reconfigure the emergency department in Navan. But last Sunday, Paul Reid, the CEO of the HSE, adopted the role of Lieutenant Kendrick on radio and decided he was going to ignore the order and do his own thing. So my question, Minister, it's very straightforward, is who is in control of our health system? I don't want the pre-prepared stuff that the department are going to have prepared for this. I want you as a Minister of the Department of Health to answer that. Who is in control of our health system? The Senior Minister halted plans. And not for parish pump political reasons, as Fionn Sheehan in the Irish Independent claimed yesterday. Because not only could they not answer our questions on the day in terms of capacity, but they also admitted that they were sending them to an already overcrowded emergency department. Blatantly said that. The HSE have given the two fingers to the Minister for Health. Now, we've been warned by consultants and by Paul Reid that politicians holding out against this could result in the deaths of people in Navan Emergency Department. But that works both ways. That works both ways. Nobody in that room was able to answer the tough questions on what happens, my people from Navan, when they get to an overcrowded emergency department in Drogheda, where they'd have to wait for 12 to 13 hours to be seen. That is not an adequate health service in this country. It's not. It's a stain on the country. And for the HSE to claim that's how they propose to handle people like cattle is a goddamn disgrace. They're operating on a wing and a prayer. Build up capacity later. Recreate Limerick and Navan. Not on my watch. The claim that people will die works both ways. Don't threaten me, don't threaten politicians. If you can't do your job, HSE, to provide the service that the people need, you're given the budget, go and do it. Men follow orders or people die. Lots of lads playing God here. I look forward to the response.
Thank
you, and I thank Senator Cassells for raising the matter of the plans to reconfigure services at Navan's Hospital Emergency Department, and on behalf of Minister Donnelly. Navan is one of the 9 hospitals which were designated Model 2 hospitals under the Smaller Hospitals Framework, which was approved by Government in 2013. And Navan is the last of these 9 hospitals to undergo transition to a Model 2 hospital. Currently, Navan is a Model 3 acute general hospital with 24-hour emergency department service to which patients may self-present or be brought by ambulance. It also provides a range of inpatient and outpatient general medical, elective surgical and orthopaedic services. Ambulances currently bypass the emergency department for certain conditions that can't be catered for at Navan. These are STEMI, heart attacks, stroke, trauma, as well as paediatrics and obstetrics. Patients who present to the emergency department who require surgery are transferred to Lady of Lourdes Hospital in Drogheda. The HSE has advised that the current acute model of care at Navan holds significant risks from a governance and clinical care perspective. The Smaller Hospitals Framework in 2013 described the evolution of healthcare delivery, including the shift to day surgery and ambulatory care, and the consolidation of complex care in larger volume centres. There is a recognition that there is a link between volume and outcomes. This is by no way means we must provide care in larger hospitals. Less complex care, which is the majority of hospital care, can and is provided safely in smaller hospitals. Other hospitals in the Smaller Hospitals Framework, which are already transitioned, becoming Model 2, provide excellent examples of how these hospitals are even busier than before. As Senator, you did raise, on the 13th of June, elected representatives from the Navan area met with the HSE operational and clinical leads. At this meeting, the HSE described very clearly the patient safety rationale for the proposed change to a Model 2 hospital, so that critically ill and unstable patients can have the best chance of survival. And let us make sure that these issues of survival and patient safety are at the forefront of discussions at this matter of which you outlined. There would be a 24/7 medical assessment unit which will continue to cater for the vast majority of medically unwell patients who currently come into Navan through its emergency department. There has been considerable capital investment in Navan Hospital, with the opening of a new second general theatre and a new day ward, an expanded recovery room, a new laboratory, a new rehab unit and a new psychiatric day ward, and there are further future development plans. The future vision for Navan Hospital is that it will be busier with the expansion and development of services. And it is important to note that Navan Hospital is not closing or being downsized. However, while recognising the very real clinical concerns, the Government is clear that several important issues, including additional capacity in other hospitals impacted and the continued ability of people of the Navan area to access emergency and urgent care, would need to be fully addressed before any proposed transition by the HSE could be considered.
Thank you very much, Minister. Senator Cassells, you have 1 minute to respond to that.
Minister, we're told by the HSE that medical safety issues dictate their policy and that clinicians know best. Nobody questions that. But what we've been asked to accept from an agency that is failing people in EDs here and now across the country. And when failures happen, such in Limerick, what happens? We get a one-word statement from the HSE PR department: sorry. I don't want their sorry. They proved in that room 2 weeks ago in front of us that they don't have their homework done, just like Limerick. They're trying to implement something before having capacity built up. They've admitted that. And then they have the brass neck, after bulldozing their way on, to threaten politicians that will have blood in their hands because people could die. Well, that works both ways. It works both ways, gentlemen. The HSE are currently failing people in this country in EDs the length and breadth of the country. And when they do, they just say sorry. Transferring people from Navan to an overcrowded emergency department in Drogheda is not a health policy, it's dangerous.
Again,
I want to thank Senator Cassells for your contribution on this matter, and I know there is a shared concern to ensure that patients in Meath, the North East or any part of the country can access the services they need. And that is a core element of the planning for the reconfiguration at Navan, and these concerns must be addressed. And more widely, access and quality are core to the Government's unprecedented investment in the health system. And I will bring your concerns to Minister Donnelly, and I want to thank you for raising those concerns.